So how long does the foreclosure process take in Arizona? In this video, we're gonna show you exactly what that's all about. And you know, I love Arizona. There's a lot of cool little things that we're gonna share with you on not only how you can make money, but a lot of money in this whole process. Not so much the foreclosure, but anyway, you'll see, so stick around for that. I've got a special little bonus for you at the very end. So make sure you stick all the way to the very end and we'll help you out with that. Thumbs up, comment, do all those wonderful things, and we'll go from there. All right, let's just talk about this. Okay, first of all, let's just talk about the necessity of foreclosure or what it is or whatever. So what happens is this, you gotta understand something. If you're being foreclosed on, it's because you've been delinquent 30 days or more. Okay, so a notice of default or an NOD will not be sent until you've been delinquent for 30 days. There might be other stuff going out there, you know, that, I don't know, even looks threatening or what have you. What the bank is trying to do is trying to get it from going into an NOD because that accelerates a lot of other things, but also slows down some things. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The banks don't want you to go into default, okay? It does not do them any good. I don't want you to go into default. If I was the one selling you the property and carrying the note, I would want to know as soon as possible if that was going on, because then I can start working on a solution because, believe it or not, that's required by law. Okay, especially with all the COVID stuff and what have you, there's in the debacle bound in 08, some of the regulations on this have changed a lot. And it's not so much to favor the borrower to default. What it is try to come up with solutions so we don't clog everything up. Okay, so let me give you an example. If a person becomes 30 days late, then and only then can I send out a notice of default. What that does is it starts the clock. Okay, it's like, okay, now this has been issued, what are we gonna do? At that point, it kicks into what they call, you know, sometimes they call it mediation or whatever, where we can talk. I can talk with the borrower can talk with me, you can talk with the bank can talk with you, whatever the case is, and says, okay, what's going on? What can we do to avoid this? Because I'm gonna tell you this, the last thing a bank wants is for it to go into that situation. Let me explain something. I'm not regulated. I can lend money out and people cannot pay me and the government doesn't really care. I don't have enough money. But when the banks start lending out loans, and let's say that, you know, I don't know, Wells Fargo has lent out $1 billion on home loans. And what they're looking at is, of that $1 billion, how much of that loan portfolio is currently delinquent. This is what they call a leading indicator. So once somebody goes 30, 60, 90 days late, there's levels of this. You guys, it's math, Fibonacci, okay? The universe works in this. If somebody is 30, 60, 120 days, those strike off certain levels of probability. If I'm only 30 days late and I'm able to negotiate with the bank, the less likelihood of me going into default, losing the property. Once it goes into 60 days, it goes higher and higher and higher. Again, these are these predictive models that don't lie, okay? You can't get around that. So, I mean, again, if you understand anything about, you know, Fibonacci rules or, you know, whatever, universally, there's trends that happen that, you know, yes, you can get out of, but the likelihood are slim and none, as they say in Texas, and Slim just left town. So they're trying to figure out where we're at with this whole thing. So if they can't negotiate something in that 3-month period of time, then it goes into NTS, which is a notice of a trustee sale in Arizona. And then that means, hey, we're gonna foreclose on this thing, okay? It's going into foreclosure. We want this property back. It's now dragging our portfolio down. We have to do certain things to make that happen. Once it goes to that, it goes to a sale. And then there's, you know, eviction process and everything else like that. This window, it depends on how effective or efficient the county is at that point, because there's, you know, court stuff that happens. That can take anywhere from a minimum of 4 months. That's pretty quick. A minimum of 4 to 8 months, somewhere in that window in there. So as you can see, the property owner has a number of opportunities to get a hold of the lender to make sure that they don't go into that default situation. Now remember, if you're buying a tax lien certificate in the state of Arizona, okay, there is a 3-year redemption period on that. I'm foregoing a lot of this stuff, okay? So if I buy a tax lien certificate in Arizona, 3 years have come and gone and I've got the opportunity to foreclose on that property, it's not gonna take quite as long, really about 120 days, because what happens at that point, they've been late for years, obviously, 3-year redemption period. So the first thing the county is gonna require me to do is to bring all the taxes up to date and current, okay? I've done that. Okay, now I can start the foreclosure process. So now I notify everybody out there that I'm foreclosing this property. There is no NOD, this is kind of an NTS at this point, notice of trustee sale, kind of, although it's not a trustee. Okay, I'm notifying that the sale is coming up. The sale is coming up at whatever particular, the foreclosure is coming up. There is a court date, it's not going to sale. And they're gonna say, you're gonna have to advertise, you're gonna have to send out certificates. I've gotta prove to the courts that I've done everything I can to notify the homeowner and, quite frankly, any mortgages or anything else like that. If anybody that has a financial interest in that property does not come in within that prescribed amount of time, which usually takes about 45 days, somewhere in that area, the judge looks at it and goes, you've done what you've done, boom. I'm slow motion, right? As soon as that stamp goes on there, it's done. There is no redemption period. There is no mediation. There's none of that stuff. I own the property. Okay, now the next phase of it is I have to clear title. Wait a second, I thought I owned the property. Well, that magically, it doesn't just disappear in the county's file. What I have to do is I have to hire somebody to go in there and say, here's the title. Here's the people that used to have encumbrances against this property. No longer valid. I've got to go ahead and prove that, which, clearing the title, cleaning the title, uncloud the title, a number of different things that they say from that. That process takes probably another 3 months or so. That doesn't mean you can't do anything with the property. It just means before you can sell it with title insurance, you're going to have to clean that property up. So as you can see, it's super important that you know what you're buying. So when you're buying a tax lien certificate, you're buying it because I want the interest rate on it. For instance, in Arizona, it's 16%. I'm expecting them to redeem. With all these notifications out, I'm gonna get 16%. But in the unlikelihood, but in the chance that somebody does not redeem, I wanna make sure that my underlying asset, the property, is something that I would want if I were to have to foreclose on the property. In this case, we've got a property, let's say, that's worth $300,000. I may have $6,000 or $7,000 in taxes on that property. And yeah, I win. I win that property. I win it. But again, understand the chances of them losing a $300,000 property for $10,000 in back taxes, as they say, are slim and none. But it is up to us to make sure that that's the case. So I'm not going, oh, I didn't want this property. Well, what could be a property you wouldn't want, Sean? Thank you for asking. You're welcome. I just talked to myself in the third person. So a property that's, 15 feet wide and 100 yards long, unusable, no access, no availability of all sorts of things on there, maybe utilities or what have you. So those could be some reasons why you wouldn't want it, but it doesn't matter. In the state of Arizona, if I'm foreclosing on a property due to non-payment of a loan, it's going to take anywhere from, 4 months is not realistic. I'm going to say 5 to 9 months in that process. If I'm foreclosing on it because of a delinquent taxes, you should be looking at about 4 months, okay, on that process. Again, don't do this on your own. This is not some course on how to foreclose in Arizona. This is giving you a broad brushstrokes on what it's going to take to make that happen in the state of Arizona. Go out and do your research. More importantly, do this. Get some training. I've got a brand new course for free that you can hit. Just go down below. Go to higginsmethod.com, higginsmethod.com. Hit the link down there. You can get your course. It's my gift to you for hanging out with me for this long. This is Saen Higgins saying good luck and God bless.